Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so excited. And I had to throw in a couple of squeals in there because I had the benefit of talking to her for a little bit before we did this because I like to know the things before the things, but I know there's
Well,
more things.
yeah.
I know, right? Okay, so welcome back. It has actually been, well, it hasn't affected y'all any, but it's been a little while since we've seen each other. We haven't recorded in a couple
Two
weeks, about
weeks.
2 weeks. That's
Yeah.
insanity. We've never
I
gone that long without like recording together or talking or anything.
I know.
But the wonderful thing is there was a reason. Melaina went to Colombia. And if you follow her on social media, then you were definitely able to see some of the highlight reels that happened and some of the great moments and some of the beautiful moments that she was able to experience. But today, this afternoon, whenever you're listening, whatever, you are going to hear about her experience because she is graciously going to share it with us and share all the things. And I cannot wait. And I'm so excited. Go ahead, Melina. I can't wait. Go.
Hey, yeah, like Delancey said, well, I don't know, most of you, some of you, if you want to go check it, I do have it saved in my highlights, but I'm going to stop there. So pretty much we took off onto this adventure, and you guys that have been listening to the podcast, and even Delancey, you know how incredibly nervous I was about this whole thing. There was a lot of quote unquote fear put in me. I didn't even quote that shit. There was fear put in me because Colombia was so different 36 years ago when my mom went. So she made it seem like this really scary place, but it's changed drastically in 36 years. And it actually was magical and amazing. And so we flew there, crazy flight, flew there. And then it was a surprise for my birth mom on her birthday. And so she had no clue. My 4 other siblings had no clue. 2 little brothers were clued in. So they picked us up from the airport and we were able to meet them. And it just, this is where I've talked to Delancey too. Dynamics are so different with every family. Some people are close to their birth families. Some people are close to their adoptive families. Some people aren't close to any families, or there's one, you know what I mean? There's different sides of things. But the instantaneous hugs with my brothers was wild, just wild. Like you could, and I'm not all about energy and chakra and that kind of shit, but it's like you could.
I'm sorry, the way you just said chakra just
No,
killed me. Keep going.
but you could feel that. And I didn't realize they were going to be just as nervous as I was. Like it didn't even cross my mind. Anyway, met my brothers, magical. We spent the day with them. It was so much fun. We went to dinner, all the things. Like it just was so good. Like I was terrified about the language barrier, but obviously my one brother and his girlfriend, they spoke English, so we were totally fine there. They could translate everything. They were amazing. Um, the one thing I don't know if I've shared very much, they wouldn't let us pay for anything. Like we tried so hard to pay for stuff, they would not let us pay for anything. They were just elated that we were there. They were so happy that we were there, and they just wanted to show us around and everything. Anyway, we go back to the hotel. My brothers come pick us up from the hotel and take us back to my brother's house, and my birth mom's there, and we like do a fake FaceTime call. Well, not even fake. That's not, no, we FaceTime them and pretend that's the fakeness that I'm still here in America.
I was about to say I have questions. How do you fake a face? I'm very confused. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, I get it.
I got
No,
so thrown off by that. Like, huh?
I love it. And don't mind my laugh and my cough. I came home with a cold because there was a lot that went on. In Delancey, we were actually discussing that, and I'll talk about it after I do the sweet and condensed version of everything. Anyway, so then we go back, we're talking, and then I tell her I have a surprise for her, and my 2 little brothers come in the frame with me, and she realizes, oh my gosh, like she's here. The rest of the siblings didn't know. I walk into the other room, they're all crying. The reactions are just insane. Like my sister holds me, we're crying. My older brother holds me, we're crying. My oldest brother, he's like a rock and he never cries, but I did get him to cry before I left, which I was pretty damn proud of myself. And my brother, who's 20 months just younger than me, his reaction, he picked me up and was crying. Like he was so excited, and he ruined me with our relationship with him, like ruined in a good way, to where there was something so powerful with him that anytime I would hug him or talk to him, I just wanted to comfort him and be close to him, and I would cry. Like we just had this unspeakable bond. It's so crazy how that can happen. And we don't even
Yeah.
speak the same language. Anyway, is amazing. Then the next couple days, honestly, was hanging out, not really sightseeing, trying all the different foods. Some of the food is hella weird there, I'm not gonna lie, but I still ate it. But it was like, ugh. Some of it was really good. We just got to know each other. I did ask my birth mom a couple questions. I asked her why she kept me a secret, and she said because of the judgment that her sisters would have given her. It's very culturally not acceptable to place babies. And so she was terrified of the judgment. But once she made that decision, she said that she wishes she could have taken me back. And it does make me uncomfortable when she says that, because I know I'm supposed to be here. And I get why she's saying that. But the crazy thing is I was the only C-section baby. And so that's another sign from God, right there from God. She couldn't get up immediately because I was a C-section with her, which is so crazy. And so, yeah. Oh no, go ahead.
I was about to say, I'm so sorry. I just that's okay. That's a lot. So I'm trying to wrap my head around it, because like I understand what she's saying with the whole entire, like, with judgment from her sisters.
Yeah.
So she's obviously very close with her sisters. Yeah. So I'm assuming she made the decision very early on to place you for adoption, and then hit the entire pregnancy, C-section, stay in the hospital, everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I was on that same page. That's a lot and incredible.
Yeah, she had one friend that knew, and it's actually the same friend, which is kind of crazy, because people ask me about like the family dynamics there, and it's like, well, aren't you so sad that you were the only one not raised by her? But when you look back on it, my oldest brother was raised by like a grandma, and the other siblings had aunts very involved in their lives. While she worked, she was in their lives, but not what you would say like I am as a mother in my kids' lives. Does that make sense? And my youngest brother, who speaks English, his godmother actually took him in, and she knew about me. And she pretty much, from my understanding, was like, I cannot see you go through that again, so just let me take him and I will raise him so he's close to you, and those kinds of things. Okay. And so that's where the dynamics get weird, because I get questions and I'm like, oh, it's all over the place. Like,
it's just a big family. It's a big family.
And it's with how she was. I mean, they don't make very much there, even to this day. I get their cost of living is a lot different than here in America, but they just don't. And so for her, because people are like, well, why did she place you? I'm like, I have it in a letter. She wanted physically, mentally, spiritually better for me. She says that in the letter. She wanted better for me, and she couldn't provide for me. So this is what she did. Anyway, so like I said, we went bowling, which was so much fun. We did all these different things. And my one brother, my other younger brother, I feel like me and him look the most alike, which is so crazy too, to actually be in person with people who have like the same features as you. But it's wild, isn't it? It's so crazy. Like over a screen, it's crazy. Like it's gonna be like when me and Delancey finally meet in person too. But like, me and him can just tease each other. And that's something that I always like. I'm really close to one of my cousins, and I call him my little brother, but that's like how this little brother is. Like, we just give each other crap. Like, and it's just so much fun. And it's just an easy relationship with him. And the crazy thing is he doesn't even speak English, but like we can, you just have that vibe with people. You don't really have to speak the same language. And that's something that I learned. But it honestly was more than I could have asked for. I seriously felt God with me the whole time. And I don't know how people can't go without having God in their life, because wow, he was there. It's gonna make me cry. He was there every step of the way. And I remember getting off that plane in Colombia, and he said, whether this turns out good, whether this turns out bad, Melaina, I'm here for you 110%. And to have that calm, peaceful feeling from God, and it ends up being better than I could have ever expected. I'm just like, how can people not believe in God? Like, how? I don't understand that. And so there's just so much. Like, we hung out a lot. I did, and I haven't even shared this on my stories yet, but I did have a conversation with my birth mom the very last day we were there. And my brother and his girlfriend were very good about if you want to sit down with her, we're happy to translate. They kept telling me that because they knew that was something on my heart. But the more I got down there, the more I just wanted to just be with them and soak them all in. And I don't really care because I'm like, there's always time for questions later. There's always time for
Right.
questions later. And one of the questions that a lot of people have had is like, well, what about your birth dad? And honestly, the more I sat in it, I'm like, if there are men out there, they may know, they may not know about me, but if they have a knowledge that I am here and they don't want to be a part of this, like,
Right.
I don't care. And I know that's harsh, but I'm like, me and my brother were talking about it. Like, if they don't want to be a part of this, granted, I get if they didn't know, that's a different story. But if they knew about us,
Right.
like she's claiming, because I have asked once and she's like, well, he knows about you, but the math doesn't add up right. Because she said we all have the same dad. But she said the last time she saw him was before the youngest was born. So it like doesn't even work out. Like, it's like, he was born like 5 years later, but you said the last time you saw him was 5 years before he was even born. The math doesn't add
Okay, I was about to say, Melina, I don't know if you remember biology,
up. Yeah.
but
So I'm
5 year
like,
gap makes sense. Okay, 5 year gap. I
right.
mean, I was sitting
Yeah.
there going like, I know I live in Mississippi, but come on now, even I know that part. But the 5 year gap thing, I get that. I understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So like
That's
it, I mean, but it, then again to say, who knows? Maybe they slept
yeah,
overheard. Then maybe they slept around again. I don't know. But this is my other thing. Like I did ask all my siblings, I said, are you mad at her that she kept me a secret?
right.
And all of the brothers said no, because they're like, it's not our place to judge. And we were just so excited that we had a sister out there that we didn't know about that we could get to know. Now, my sister, I talked to Lance a little about this. She still has
Yeah,
some very harbored feelings, which makes me sad. I'm not going to go too much
yeah,
into it. That's just really for Delancey to know. But my wish and prayer for her
yeah.
is that she can release those feelings one day. And she's got a lot of, I'm not going to say specifics, but animosity towards my birth mom. I'm not going to go into too
Right.
many details with that. But um, yeah, what else? Dynamics. I will say this because me and Delancey were
Mhm.
talking about this too. I get with my birth mom. She's never got to raise me, touch me, hold me, anything like that. So she wanted to comfort me. I had one brother, like I told you before, anytime he would leave or anything, I would cry. It just, there was something between us that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just love him. Like, I don't want him to
Mhm.
go. I want him to stay with me forever. And I turned to my husband. My husband is my number one comfort with everything in life. And I turned to him and he was
Mhm.
holding me and they came over and they're like, she wants to comfort you. And I succumbed to it because I'm like, okay, I understand it. But for me, it was very uncomfortable. And I know she could probably feel my
Right.
body language kind of like, ooh, like,
Shift a little bit.
but this is where it comes in. She is this amazing human being that gave me
Mhm.
life, gave me everything I have, gave me more than I could ask for. It's going to sound really harsh, but she's not my mom. She's
It's
not.
not harsh at all. That's not
She's,
harsh. That
yeah,
is not
but
harsh.
she's not my mom. Like my mom is here, but she's not my mom. And
Right.
so, and I'm grateful for everything. And I would love to build a relationship with her to where we maybe could be more like friends, but I don't, it's never going to be that, and even Ben said that. Ben's like, she didn't raise you. She wasn't in your life. And,
Yep.
you're an adult now where you're doing your own things. It's not like she can come in and parent you,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, and I think she knows that. And I was telling Delancey too, they were very, very, very respectful of my personal space. I could tell they wanted to, hold hands and touch more
Hmm.
because I get it. I was only there for 5 days. They wanted to soak me in as much as I wanted to soak them in. And they were so sweet. They were always asking me, do you want to go lay down? Do you want to take a nap? Because they could tell I was
Hmm.
tired because even though we were sitting and chatting, everything's still going. Like
Yeah.
everything in
Yeah.
my body is still firing because it's like, whoa, whoa. And so I would never go lay down because I'm like, I don't want to miss a minute with them. Hence, that's why I think I came home with a cold because
Hmm.
probably should have listened to my body a little bit better, but it's fine. I'm trying to think of what, no, it just, oh, I don't think I went into this. So on the last day, we sat down with her and I told Delancey that she asked for my forgiveness. And I told her, there's nothing to forgive. I said, I can't imagine the heartache and the pain that you went through in placing me. I said, but because of you, I have my kids, I have my magical life back home. Like, there's nothing to forgive. And she's like, you know, I'm sad for you to go. I want to keep you forever. And I understand that. But Ben did tell my birth family, which another reason why I love, like, I couldn't have done this without him. He said, you know what? I'm going to be selfish. She's my wife. She's mine. I'm going to take her back home because her life is with me. I know it's not easy. I know it's hard, but I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to take my wife back home. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and they understood it. And
Yeah.
every single one of them were so grateful for him because down there, they don't really get married. They have kids with each other with multiple partners sometimes or one partner, but they don't get married. And so for them to see, and they could see how healthy our relationship is because I would
Right.
be close to him. I'd hold on to him because he's just a safe spot for me. But
Mm-hmm.
all my brothers told him to his face, every single one of my brothers said, we're so grateful that Melaina has a man like you to take care of her, that wants her to be happy, that is such a good dad and wants to be involved in like our nieces and nephews' lives. Like they were just, and for them to say, we're grateful for you, I'm like, wow, just wow. Like, who says that? And obviously they did, but it just, whoop, it just was amazing. It was just so good. And so that's the thing is like the more I got to know them, they seriously have huge hearts. I get that they want me to be there. It hasn't been easy on them, just like it hasn't been easy on me being home because I don't think any of us expected how much love was going to blossom with me being there.
Mm-hmm.
And coming home, it's been a lot of heartache. Like I told Delancey, I was in bed for probably 4 days. Like I took the weekend and even before that, when my kids went to school, my poor little guy sat on the Nintendo Switch, but it's fine. It babysat him for a couple days, but like you need that. And Delancey
Yeah.
even she empathized with that. She's like, I get it, Melaina, I get it. Because when she went through it with her family, it's a lot. And people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that until they go through it. Like it's a lot. Whether it turns out to be great, whether it turns out to be shitty, it's still a lot on your body and your mind and your soul. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
And so leaving was very hard. The airport, it was crazy because there was all of us there. They all came to the airport to say goodbye, and I was so lost in like our little bubble. I didn't even see anybody else there, if that makes sense. Like we were just crying and hugging, and I was telling them all, come to America, like you have to come visit, all these things because I would love for them to come and visit, and they all want to. And I know getting a visa in Colombia is really hard because like America just makes it really hard, but they all really want to work toward it and they can come and visit and then go home. I mean, it just that's the nice thing. They can come and visit, I can go and visit.
Right.
And you know, it's it's been good. There's also been some toughness too. I'm gonna share this. I shared it with Delancey.
Okay.
When we met my birth mom, Ben took a couple pictures, and I have a family chat back here with my family here. And he sent pictures in of me and my birth mom. And it breaks my heart. I'm going to get real with it. And I don't really care who hears or anything because I voiced it to a couple of my siblings. But when it went in, my brother and his wife were the only ones that had anything to say about it. And at the time, we were with my birth mom. So I glanced at it, put it away, whatever, ignored my phone. We got back to the hotel later that night. And I look at Ben and I go, nobody else has said anything about it. And the thing that breaks my heart is I text Delancey, and Delancey immediately texts me back, I'm so happy for you. I text my best friends, two of my really good friends, same thing. We text my mother-in-law and Mia, because Mia was all about this trip. She's so funny. They text me back immediately. And so it just, everybody has hardship going on in their life. I'm not denying that. But if you genuinely love somebody, you can put your shit aside for 2 minutes and send somebody, I'm so happy for you. Hell, I would have taken a stupid emoji with the hearts around it and the eyes all happy. Like, acknowledge it. How hard is it to acknowledge? And the thing that just hurts is like, this is one of the biggest moments of my life. And nothing from the people who I thought would be the most excited for me. And this same brother and this same sister-in-law, when we got home, they invited us over for dinner and they said, we want to hear all about it, show us pictures, and their kids and everybody were so excited. And same with On. My husband's side, his brother and his wife, same thing. They called us, had us up for dinner. Please share everything. I don't know. So I am heartbroken there. So if my family hears this, it is what it is. But I'm not gonna lie, you did me dirty. Like,
100%. I'm going to agree with that. I mean this as respectfully as I can because this is your family and I love you and I love everything that has to do with you because you're one of my closest friends. But to not respond, and I stand by this, is not okay.
no,
And
it's not.
it's not my place to share anything past that. But
No.
it honestly, outsider looking in, it breaks my heart for you. And it's just it's not okay. It doesn't, and nothing about that will ever make sense to me, and nothing anybody says to try to justify the actions or words will ever make sense ever, because your journey was not about anybody else's feelings. You just needed their support.
Right. And this is one thing I kind of shared with Delancey too, is my family growing up, it wasn't this lovey-dovey family. It just never was. It's just how my parents kind of raised. Like I was actually kind of talking to my sister about it earlier, and I was like, I feel like it was kind of robotic. It just was robotic. Like there was not really teasing that siblings do or bantering or anything like that with my siblings growing up. Yes, I have a age gap in between, but when I went to Colombia, it was a different story. It was this, it's who I am. Like when I meet Delancey, I'm gonna hug the shit out of her. I'm gonna hug her so tight.
You better.
But it's just
There.
who I am. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like it's who I
Yes.
am. And I'm
Yes.
that way with my kids. I'm so touchy, and I get not everybody's touchy feely. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but to be
Right.
around people who were just like me, it was insane. Insane. And I just was so heartbroken because I'm like, for 2 seconds, can y'all put your shit aside and be happy for me? Even if you're not happy for me, send a thumbs up.
That part.
Because I was
That
about ready
part.
to send this one back in.
Well, and that's, but like, that's the thing that I don't get. It's like, how are you not, like, it's one thing to take a step back and like, process, feel, and we'll connect. It's one thing to do that, but it's completely different when you're sent directly the information and you do
Well,
nothing with it.
right.
I
Well, and I
don't.
no, but I told Ben this too. I was like, it's really sad that there's strangers on Instagram who are more
Yeah.
excited for me, who have said things to me, complete strangers who I could
Yeah.
feel them pray for me before I left. Hence why I think God was so loud, because God's not
Mm-hmm.
like that. But he was so loud when I got off the plane, like so loud. And I'm like, it is because I have all these people watching this story unfold and they're
Mm-hmm.
praying for me. And it kind of broke my heart, and this is how I feel. And if my family interprets it a different way, that's fine. Please don't come at me. I'm valid in my feelings, and I understand. if
100%.
if you listen to me, I understand people have crap in their life, but I also understand you can put your own shit aside for 2 seconds and wish somebody well.
Mhm.
It's not
Yes,
that hard.
that
It's
is a
not that hard.
very, very truthful statement.
It's how you keep a relationship. So if you don't want to keep a relationship, then don't talk to me. That's just, I'm being
Yeah.
honest. Like it is what it is. So I I don't know. Things have been kind of weird since I've got home. Some people are happier for me than others, and I'm just leaning into
Right.
those people because, like, with Delancey, I honestly couldn't wait until tonight to talk to her about it because we haven't talked. We've been so busy, but she also has been amazing, and she's gone through it, and she respected my boundaries of,
Yeah.
I know you need some time, and
I
when
know
we're
you need
ready, we're gonna
space.
do this.
Yeah.
Like, you know
It's
what I
like,
mean?
and it's like, okay, so we're still on for Tuesday, right? We're still on for Tuesday because like
Yeah,
I'm giving you all the space in the world so
yeah,
like you can process and you can get back to,
yeah,
life,
yeah,
because life doesn't stop. That
yeah.
that's
No,
the that's the one thing I don't think a lot of people understand is that for you going through all of this and not going through it because it makes it sound like it was, not good. But for you to experience all the things that you've experienced and life didn't stop for you.
yeah,
Like life doesn't stop. Like you
no,
experience these big things, these big emotions, these big feelings, these big experiences, these big moments in life. Life doesn't stop though, because
Right.
you get back and like it's just like you told me, you got back and you immediately had to get kids ready to go to school.
Yeah.
You know, your husband is about to go out of town again. Like you are, it just, and that's why, I mean, I don't know if any of y'all caught it, but she said earlier that she took the weekend and she, you know, laid in bed. I applauded that. I said, thank you for finally taking some time to like,
Yeah.
just, just be, to just
Yeah.
sit and be. So
Yeah.
I really feel like there are some people who need to learn to get over themselves and realize that it's not about them
Right.
because you experienced a lot and your
Right.
life never stopped. So the appropriate thing would have been to A, offer support and say something. And then B, how may I help you readjust to life after this big life changing moment? How can I help you? Do you need help
Yeah.
with the kids? Do you need
Yeah.
help with packing their lunches? Do I need to pick
Right.
them up from school so that you can have like a nap? Like to me, that I know we, and you know, I get to know the things and she gets to know my things. So I know a little bit more than y'all do.
Yeah.
But even with what y'all know, I think we can all agree that Melaina is showing so much grace right now and so much strength. And I am so excited because you are definitely leading by example. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. I know
It's
it feels like a lot and you have a lot going on, but
yeah. And I mean, it's not easy and it's hard. And this is what I told Delancey is like through all this hardship, I'm grateful I waited to go down when I feel like I'm more mature.
Mhm.
And I don't know how people don't believe in God, man. Like to each their own, but like God's there through the rough, God's there through the
Right.
great. Like, and I'm clinging to him so hard right now, and I can feel it because
Mhm.
it's been a wild ride since I've been home. Because it's pretty much like what I said before. The people who I wanted to support me the most haven't or very half-assed it. And it's like, cool. Like, and it's hard because it's some of the closest people in your life, which
Right.
I've learned, and people are going to hate this too, but I don't really care. You're allowed to keep those in your life who bring you light and life and joy, and you are
Mhm.
allowed to cut people out of your life, even if they're family. It's harsh,
Say it louder for the
but
people in the back.
you're allowed to. People aren't going to like it.
Yes.
People aren't going to agree with it, but
No.
you're allowed to cut whoever you out and you
No.
want in your life. And Delancey can
100%.
relate to that because she went through something really big with her birth family. And me and her were talking about that. Stories are so different. And I think that's why it
Mhm.
makes both of us so annoyed and irate when people are
Mhm.
like, all adoption is this way. No, it's not, because look at me and Delancey's stories. Like, we have rifts with everything with different parts of family and other shit,
Mhm.
but like our
Mhm.
birth family outcomes are so different. Our adoptive
Mhm.
families, which I hate even saying that, are so different. Our families are so
Mhm.
different.
Which
Like,
still blows me away. Like I said that to Melaina earlier. Like that it blows me away how the different responses
yeah,
that our families had to us, meaning our biological families. Like that
yeah,
that really honestly, I mean, I didn't say it as loudly as I'm about to say it now, but like it that genuinely threw me. Like it,
yeah,
I don't know if you saw my face when you were telling me that part, and I just went
yeah,
like, what do
yeah,
you okay,
yeah,
cool. And you know, of course, my typical response is I just want to talk to him.
yeah.
I just want to talk to him, just have a conversation about how,
I,
but
I really
it's
wish Delancey was closer. Lots of days. I'm not even kidding you.
oh
So does
trust.
Mia, but because Mia wants her to come watch all her softball games.
I would so gladly come do that too. I would
But
gladly like that
yeah,
would be the most amazing thing. Well, and it's I know I'm very thrilled for you, and this is going to sound really weird, and but it's something that they've talked about in church over, you know, past couple Sundays. I think it's like how we always talk about how we feel God in the good moments, and we feel God whenever things are going right. But what about when things aren't going right? What about when things aren't working for us? When things aren't going well? Like we're supposed to praise Him in the positive, but we're also supposed to praise Him in our struggles too, because that's life is, unfortunately, life on this earth is suffering sometimes. Like that
Yeah.
just, and especially as believers and Christians, we will suffer. So I really want to reiterate what you said of you feel God and you're clinging to God right now, because it would be so easy for you to say, God, why did you do this to me? Why did you put me through this? Why did you create this? Why did you, why? And instead you're going, God, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's, I really hope those listeners are listening. They take, of course, take everything in that you said, because again, you're showing so much grace and you're showing so much strength. And I love that you've experienced this, but I love so much more that you're saying, I don't know how you can't believe in God, because God is what is helping me
It's true.
to navigate all of this,
Right.
and to still focus on the positive, because that, I'm telling you, that one picture of your biological mom holding your face and you're smiling. I said that to you too. I said,
See,
this is the picture.
I
This
know,
is the picture.
but
That's
like
that's it.
that's what I don't understand is how hard is it to send somebody some well wishes? Like I had a friend who I ran into Costco and she's been watching all of this unfold and she's a fellow
Mm-hmm.
adoptee. And when I ran into her in Costco, you seriously thought Costco was on fire because she screamed so loud. Mama! She was so excited. And I'm like, that's the response I need and want
That's the
coming back.
response you need. Yes. We're doing a quick little commercial break. A little one just walked in the room, and not in my room, because I don't have little ones. The ones that I do have 4 legs.
He
Huh?
was asking me about the Nintendo.
Yes, very importante question.
Yes. Anyway, no, but that's what I'm just saying is like I wanted those big resound things of happiness for me because I knew coming home it was going to be
Right.
really
I
hard.
get that.
What do you need? I don't know, buddy. I'll look at it later, okay, sweetheart? Thank you. But that's just like I don't know. For me, that's what I needed. And Ben was amazing when we got home because I'm not a napper, but I napped quite a bit. And he was like, I'll
Mm-hmm.
take care of the kids. And then he left on Monday and I was like, please don't go because what am I gonna do? But it's been like a
What am
good
I
thing
gonna
for
do
me
without
too.
you?
Yeah, it's true. But it's been good for me though too, because it's like, hey, Melaina,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta get back to real life. And
Right.
that's where it's like it's we're gonna be fine. Life is gonna move on. Everything's okay. It doesn't mean that things,
Mm-hmm.
won't be hard one day or I won't, but it's
Right.
good.
Well,
It's so
and
good.
and I love the reality of what you just said too. It's like that doesn't mean there is it going to be like a hard day.
Right, right.
I mean, and that's something I don't think a lot of people understand. It's like they think they're like I feel like the everyday person is like, well, I've already been, sad about this. Well, I mean, you can be happy about something for days.
Right.
What makes you think you can't be sad about something for days? Or like
Right.
you think you're okay and then out of nowhere you get sad again. Like it's all like it's okay. It's
And
all feelings are fine.
this is where I like that we talk about it too, is like you don't want to stay stuck in this. You want to honor those feelings, but you also don't want to stay
Mm-hmm.
stuck in it because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as much as chaos as it's been, as much as everything, and I told Delancey this too, I am forever grateful that I am adopted.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
am 100%. There's strains and trials and everything that have gone on, with parents and stuff like that as things have transpired and jealousy and all those things, which I understand. I'm not taking that away from them. I get that. And same with like this whole thing with my siblings. And I could be like those adoptees that like, why God? Or not even like don't even believe
Mm-hmm.
in God. Just like, why did you even have me adoptive adopted
I was letting that slide.
adopted if like people can't be happy for me? But it's like,
Right.
no, when I look at the big picture, how can I not be grateful and so happy because I have Ben, I have my babies. I mean, I have this
Mm-hmm.
podcast. I have Delancey, who was like such an
Mm-hmm.
amazing support while I was gone. We didn't talk much, but like when I text her, girlfriend texted me back and was so
Better believe
supportive.
it. Better believe it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
100%.
Like, so it's just you're gonna find the right people in your life, and I think I've shared it before too. The people who truly care about you are gonna show up The people who are only
Mm-hmm.
in it for themselves will not, and
Yeah.
that's okay. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's okay to cut people out of your life if you don't want them in your life.
Well,
That's
and
what it
what's
is.
what's interesting too is it's okay to be there for those people that you have to cut out, but it's okay to go, you know what? This is for me now, and just walk
Yes.
away. Like
Yes.
exactly like because it's one of those things of I've seen so many things where people are like they didn't match my energy, so I didn't keep them. And it's like I hear you, but people don't have to match your energy every day. It's when it
Exactly.
matters. It's when
Yes.
it matters, when it counts. This is a scenario where it mattered.
Yeah.
And I don't know the reasoning, I don't know the logic, I don't know any of that for why certain people did what they did or didn't do what they
Right.
should have done or whatever. That tripped me up for a second. But at the end of the day, when it matters, everyone knows those pivotal moments when it matters to step up.
Right.
Everyone recognizes it unless
Yeah.
they are so self-involved
Right.
that they don't pay attention to details. The people that don't pay attention to details are the people that do not have successful lives. And
Right.
I don't mean like money. I mean any Tom, Dick, and Harry can make money. That's
Yeah.
not what I mean. I
Right.
mean
Right.
actual Melaina and I think I can speak for both of us on this one when I say we fully believe that the relationships you have in your life show more success than what's in your bank account.
Exactly. 100%.
So I appreciate the fact that you are going hard boundary, and I so respect that because sometimes it takes us a little bit to get there with
No,
people,
it's
with
true.
some people, and then but when you finally get there, I'm over here like I mean, because Melaina and I share the things with each other. So like
Right.
I'm so thrilled that all of this has happened. And you started this by saying you had fear, but the second you got off the plane, you felt God.
Yeah.
I and I specifically wrote that fear, felt God, and then I wrote down forgiveness because your biological mom had asked for forgiveness. And I'm like, wow,
Right.
those are three very powerful statements that begin with F.
Yeah.
And there's another powerful statement that could potentially begin with F that we would like to say to other people who have not been very supportive, but that's not the very Christian thing to do. So we're not going to say that.
And we don't say that one. That's the
And
one word we
yeah,
don't say.
we don't say that. We don't say those words. Well, I mean, I don't well, Elena's the bad one on here. She cusses. I don't. But even it's at the same time though, but circling back to the forgiveness, you can show someone forgiveness for their lack of ability to give you what you needed and still keep that boundary and walk
Right.
away.
Right.
So
No.
I just love this. I'm so
It
excited. I'm so excited for you.
it turned out to be more than I could have imagined. And that's the other thing is like I've noticed with people who haven't met their birth families too, everybody's story is so different
Mm-hmm.
and everybody chooses to
Oh,
share
yeah.
what they want to share. And
Mm-hmm.
just keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind as we keep doing this and keep sharing things. There's
Mm-hmm.
no one story that's alike. So you cannot blanket
Mm-mm.
statement all adoptions are
Mm-mm.
perfect. All adoptions are
No,
happy. All adoptions are shitty. All adoptions are trauma. You cannot blanket that on
you can't
all
blanket
adoptions.
statement.
No,
Mm-mm.
because everyone
Well,
is so different.
and they're constantly evolving too.
Are
Relationships,
correct.
adoption journeys are constantly evolving, just like any other journey.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about this is that it's almost coming full circle now. Like we all are aware that I've cut off relations with my biological family. However, I love the fact that Melaina is now building a new level of relationship with her biological family that has now started with meeting them for the first time. She's known them for 6 years, right?
Yeah.
Six,
6 years.
6 years. I, and this goes to show how every adoption story is different again,
Yeah.
because mine was 6. So yeah, mine was 6. I met mine 3 months
Yeah.
after finding 3 or 4 months after 3 months after finding them. I don't know why I'm trying to get the time right. It really doesn't matter. 3 months. But I had to do my journey the way that I did it, the way I saw for it to be best. I
Right.
love that you waited until you were fully 100% ready to
Yeah.
go. I mean, you found, talked, conversed for 6 years, and now you're starting a whole new adventure.
Yeah.
That is just going to be, oh, I'm
And
excited.
oh,
I'm excited.
no, thank you for that. You're gonna put me in tears because it's just so amazing to know that like somebody's like, this is it's not the end, it's the beginning.
It's
And
not the end.
the
It
thing
is
that
so the beginning.
I love about Delancey is our stories differ so much, but we still, there's parts of it that we may wish were different in our stories, that are different in each other's stories, but we're never angry. We're never mad at each other. We're never jealous of it. We know that's how it is because at the end of the day, this is so cheesy, but I know how much I love Delancey and I know how much she loves me, that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. We've got that friendship to where it's great. It's wonderful. We can talk about whatever and be happy for each other when parts of our lives may not match with the other. So that's, yeah. And I just listened to an episode today that you guys will listen to way before this, where we had James come on and he was like,
Yeah.
how cool is it that you two know each other and people, he's like, I would have never known you guys met in person because just of how you guys are with each other. And like, that's so cool for people to see. And he's like, how awesome and cool is that you guys can have a friendship?
Yeah.
And so yeah,
it still throws people off. And people that like I know, you know, I had a friend that or a friend of mine that I reconnected with, have not spoken to him in 18 years.
Yeah.
18 years.
Yeah.
Like long time. And he has started listening to our podcast. And even he was like, he goes, "You've never met her?" And I was like, I was like, not in person. And I said, but we talk so much.
Yeah.
All the time. And but honestly, like the last 2 weeks, that's the longest we've gone without like consistently talking to each other.
Right. No, it's
since we first met, really, kind of, if you think about it.
True.
Like,
no, it's so true. Because even though we've had like weeks where we haven't done it, we've still talked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and we still have those moments. Like, I mean, you know, there was, I mean, I talk to Melaina about everything. I mean, we don't just, I know we've mentioned before, we don't just talk about adoption stuff. Like, we talk about life and things that are going on. And
I share all of my daughter's softball stuff with her because,
oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. It makes me so excited.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Well,
it's those kinds
and
of
that's
things.
that's what people who, when you find your people that truly support you and love you, whether you've met in person, whether you're related, whether you're genetically connected, whether you've grown up together, whether you work together, whatever the scenario is, when you find your people that you genuinely connect with,
right,
you will step up and be there for each other and be there for each other's families. And, you know, she's talking about her daughter's softball. When the thing happened with Pocket, Melaina was one of the first people I talked to about it. And Melaina was just like, oh my God, are you okay? Is Pocket okay? Like, what's going on? And that's, for other people, you know, that's a dog. That's my child. But you know, it's not to some people, it's not the same. But to us, in our friendship and our relationship, it is the same.
Yeah.
That's why you step up for the ones if you say you care about somebody, that's when you step up for them.
And like, I think Delancey said it over and over again. I feel like she said it, when you invest in people, they're going to invest back in you. So it can't be half-assed to where if you keep investing and they don't, you can only do so much until you gas out.
Just exactly. You can't pour from an empty cup. Then you need somebody to pour into you. And there, it may be a season in life when you're pouring more into them than they are into you. But that's when you have to recognize when you need to take a break.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying like stop talking to them. I'm saying like maybe take a break and like go you have to find other people to pour into you. It's a whole thing. It's a whole like water fountain thing we got going on here.
It's true.
I really am so thankful you decided that. I wasn't sure if, I'll be honest with y'all, I wasn't sure if Melaina was going to share this tonight. I really wasn't. Like, this is our first time recording in 2 weeks. And I wanted to ask her, but I didn't want to ask her. I was so like, if you want to maybe like, do you want to possibly share? Yeah. Like, you would have thought I was like trying to ask her to go to dinner or something. It was weird. It was so weird. Like, I've never, exactly. Like, I've never been that shy in my life, I don't think. And I was over here like, I mean, if you want, like, I don't. No.
You're so funny. No, no. And I love that we have that space and that
Mhm.
for each other. So anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that's pretty much what happened. And if you want to catch more, like there's only so much that I can retain to talk about. And so like if you want to see more, you can check my Instagram stories. But
Or
overall,
or or we can take some time and give her some moments to like, you know,
recollect.
recollect, and then we can do another
It's true.
update because
That's
this is going to be something that's going to be carrying on for a while.
it's
So
true. It's very true. So yeah.
just saying.
Yes,
Well, and
yes.
let me ask you this before we close out, because we're getting to that time we're going to close out. I can feel it. Um, if any, if you could give anybody that is going to meet their biological family for the first time a piece of advice, what would you give them for their piece of advice for that?
I have a couple things for, and I know other adoptees have said this, and now I can actually feel it
Mhm.
and reiterate it. Don't go in with any expectations. Don't go in like set your
Mhm.
intentions, expect it very,
Mhm.
very, very low. Because
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, God was with me, whether it was good, whether it was bad. And for parents, um, adoptive parents to be grammatically correct, but for parents of adoptees, do your best to support your child and
Yeah.
put your fears and your selfishness away. Because if your child, and I've said this before, your child has every right to know who they are and where they come from and
Mhm.
support that. If you truly have,
Mhm.
if you truly have a genuine relationship with your child, you'll know that there
Yeah.
should not be any, what do you call it, fear or anything like that. You are
Animosity.
their mom and dad.
Mhm.
My mom and dad are my mom and dad. Nothing's ever going to change that. And so don't think that, I mean, just do your best to support your child. I'm not saying it's not going to be hard. I'm not
Right.
saying that. I understand it is. There's feelings and complexity and everything that arises, but just
Mhm.
support your adoptee in this journey. So yeah.
And if you don't know how to support your adoptee,
Call
ask
Delancey's
them.
mom.
Okay. Actually, yeah, call my mom. She was really great. Like she really was. Like I don't feel like she gets enough credit. And she's still been great.
But I
She's still
love
been
that. Like,
fantastic.
ask them. I love that
Ask
Delancey said
them.
that. Ask them. Yeah,
Ask them.
100%. What can I
What
do to
can
be
I
a
do?
support for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
truthfully, y'all, that goes for anything in life. If you don't know
Agreed.
how to help somebody or what to do, just ask them,
Agreed.
how can I support you? And when they
100.
say, and when they respond with, oh, no, it's fine. I've got this. Just look at them and go, no, really? Do you need me to take out the garbage? Do
Right.
you need me to do something? Like, what can I do? Because we're not
Yeah.
mind readers. We don't
Right.
know.
No. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I love that you gave piece of advice for everybody
Yeah.
involved in
Yeah.
this scenario. I
Right.
think that I think that's going to be incredibly helpful for everyone that listens. And I love it. And I'm so glad. I'm so excited because this is just the beginning. Tip of the iceberg, people.
It's
Tip
true.
of the iceberg. I'm
So
so
very true.
excited.
So, well,
Okay.
thank you.
Well,
And thanks for being so supportive. I love your face, friend.
I
So
love your
much.
face, friend. All right. Y'all catch us next time. We're so glad you were here with us to share this experience with Melaina. Okay. Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.